This is the exciting password player and sparkling stage star, lovely Betty White.
Agnes said you were a lot of hot air, and you said she was just jealous because she wasn't getting any? And I said, getting any what? And you said rice pudding, Rose?
You may know Betty White as Rose in The Golden Girls.
Rose, it's not that funny.
I know. I think I better keep the lid on this paint thinner.
Or you may have seen her rise in popularity after a Snickers commercial.
You're playing like Betty White out there.
That's not what your girlfriend said.
And her appearance in The Proposal. Or maybe you saw the demand for her to host SNL.
I didn't know what Facebook was. And now that I do know what it is, I have to say, it sounds like a huge waste of time.
All this popularity made it so she did a sitcom in her 90s.
Is it possible that you are the perfect woman?
Well, I'd say it's very possible.
But aside from being Rose in The Golden Girls, how did Betty White become the icon she is? Some people may point to her appearance in the Mary Tyler Moore Show. In case you didn't know, in that, she's like the Blanche of the show. But it's more than that. Now, I won't go into how Betty White was basically the first person on television. I won't talk about Life with Elizabeth or her other small-time show starts. Because to me, that isn't what makes Betty, Betty. And others have covered that. Betty White herself in her book says she loves games.
You want to do a quiz?
I'll try anything.
Well, I saw that.
And I'm about to tell you why Betty is queen
This
of
is the
the
lovely
game
star
show.
of Hollywood and television, Alan Ludden's beautiful wife, Betty White.
What makes her queen started with her husband, Alan Ludden.
What are your plans for the summer, Betty?
Well, I'm going to do some... What did you have in mind, Al?
Ludden was an MC and game show host. He hosted Password for years.
Alan Ludden.
But Ludden wasn't her husband when she first started appearing on his game show Password.
That's my wife, sir.
Just as Password started, his wife was dying of cancer. So he would go from the hospital over, do the show. The week that I did Password, the third week of the show, was the week she died.
It was a bit of a rocky courtship.
Pretty soon, he didn't say hello. He'd say, will you marry me? Well, it was a joke. And I'd laugh it off, and he'd laugh it off. And then pretty soon, I came back home. I was going very steadily with somebody. And Alan kept asking me to marry him, and finally it wasn't a joke anymore, and I'd get mad. And I said, no way. So he bought a wedding ring, a beautiful gold wedding ring with diamonds all around it. And one night at dinner, he gave it to me. He said, you might as well take it because you're going to put it on one day. I said, I am not. And I gave it back to him, and I said, that's it. He put it on a chain around his neck, and he wore it so that whenever, we'd go to the beach, whatever, there was this blinking wedding ring. So when he called that night, I said, okay, yes.
I'd like you to meet a young lady who makes my bells ring, on stage, on television, and at home, Betty White.
But once she was hooked, everyone was happy for
White
them.
and Alan Ludden, and happily now, Mr. and Mrs. Alan Ludden, and congratulations to you both.
She did it, Arlene. She did it.
And you were going to let me know. You forgot. You were so excited that she said yes. I'm so glad it happened. I don't care if you'd kept it a secret from me. We all, with all our hearts, wish you great happiness and a wonderful world.
But even before she became a regular on Password, she starred in game shows.
A sought-after panelist for Make the Connection, You Don't Say, It Takes Two, Match Game, Liars Club, Family Feud, and Password.
The list of game shows goes on and on. Alan Ludden died on June 9th, 1981. Betty White said she never thought about marrying again.
At the best, who needs the rest?
She also says his death was the inspiration for one of her most dramatic, tear-jerking performances she gave on Hallmark's The Lost Valentine. In her book, Betty describes her co-stars always goading her into talking about game shows and Alan. She said one day she asked why, and they said, It's because her face lights up when she's talking about him. Now I'm sharing why she is queen of game shows because many other people have tackled her succession of her career, her film roles, her TV roles, but they often now skip over this crucial part of her life, her love of games, and her husband, Alan Ludden. Betty White knows all the big names on game shows.
For words. And in my business, words are definitely important.
That, of course, is the creator of Password. I've got a secret. What's my line? To tell the truth, The Price is Right match game, the master of game shows, Mr. Mark Goodson.
Betty was so wonderful, Ralph, that we booked her whenever we could after that.
The host of Match Game, where you made over 670 appearances, your good friend Gene Rayburn.
And she paved a way for women in the game show industry.
Just a year later, you're the first woman to host a game show called Just Men, where you win your 4th Emmy Award.
Most people know Betty also loves animals. She wanted to be a forest ranger.
You're an honorary forest ranger?
An honorary forest ranger. Growing up, that's what I wanted to be, was a forest ranger, but back then, girls couldn't be forest rangers.
Now, I believe her work with the Los Angeles Zoo and with animal charities keeps Betty young. But I also think game shows help.
Betty, you've played a lot of games, and you love to play games. This I know. Do you have any kind of a philosophy about game playing that you can state simply?
Well, squaring up, there are a lot of jokes I could say, but yes, I do. I love games and I love game shows. I think it's good mental exercise. I think it keeps everybody kind of alert and kind of on his toes, and you can't watch a game show without participating, and I think that's good mental exercise for everybody. I don't care how old or how young you are.
Keeps the mind active, which is very important.
And you meet a lot of husbands that way.
Yeah.
Thank you, Betty White, for teaching us all how to be young.